think what helped me to get through my position was the strength of my family, because at that particular time I had taken everything very personally. So it wasn't just a case of losing the business, it was very much a case of losing my mental state of mind, and my health really declined. So it was the strength of my family and my friends that really pulled me through that time.
I was fortunate really in having a very close support network from friends and from family members who were there throughout all of the adversity experience, but most particularly I leaned on mentors, so people that I knew through professional networks, who had been there throughout most of my career and perhaps in their own walks of life had experienced something similar to myself, but were more senior and therefore could guide me through this period of turbulence, I suppose you could call it.
Well, I guess I was one of the fortunate people. I said it was time to step down. I guess the writing was on the wall and I was treated extremely well, and you have to contrast that with the people that are there at the end who kind of left with the minimum rewards that are available. So in some ways I was very well treated, but I think it was a painful time, because when you leave you recognise, hang on, that's failure. That's not a moment when you perhaps reflect as wisely as you do in the months and years following it. The question I asked myself over and again was, should I have done more due diligence before I joined the business? And actually it's kind of difficult, because in many ways Woolworths did have some very talented people in the business and indeed in the boardroom. So it's difficult, but I recognise the business was in need of turnaround, although I didn't realise quite the gravity of the situation.
Even now, knowing what did happen, I wouldn't have changed the way in which I reacted. I think that I responded in a way which I felt was appropriate, given sexual harassment and sexism that I experienced, and I thought that it had to be challenged and called out. And so in sort of taking that stand, there's nothing that I would have changed, and speaking out then subsequently against the backlash through the media that I experienced and through Twitter and emails and so forth, I think that I'm pleased that I did respond in the way that I did, instead of perhaps taking a back seat and going into hiding, as I know some have.
With having more than one company and the roller coaster that I've been through, I've definitely applied some of the lessons that I've learned in my first company to what I'm doing now. So I think the biggest thing that I learned from my first company was never PG anything ever again, because it was the personal guarantees that I had with the bank, and then when something didn't go quite right, they called in the PG, and then that's when I lost everything. So that was a really tough lesson for me.